everybody, Wrestle Gamer, aka Double B Billy Boudreaux, back here on the WGS YouTube channel, youtube.com/WrestleGamer. And I got something on my mind I would like to rant about here, guys, if you can call it that here. It's the state of tag team wrestling in mainstream wrestling today. Or maybe I should word it as lack thereof. Now, you see, I'm a person who grew up on this thing called wrestling here. I am a child of the 80s, you know. So I started watching WWF, World Wrestling Federation, in like around 1986, 85, 86. And around that time, in all areas, not just in the WWF, but also in the NWA, WCW, all kinds of other territories, we had a huge abundance of tag teams. You know, we had the Powers of Pain, Demolition, the British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation, High Energy. We had the Orient Express, the Rock and Roll Express, the Midnight Express. I don't think there are any more expresses after that. We had the two dudes with attitudes. That was a while back. We also had, again, the various forms of demolition. You know, Axe Smash and Crush. We had the Legion of Doom, arguably one of the best tag teams of all time. And I remember I said arguably. I didn't say they were. I said arguably. Because there's a certain... I know a lot of people out there have different opinions about it. We had the Young Stallions. We had Strike Force, which, for those of you who don't know who Strike Force was, that was Tito Santana and Rick Martel. We had basically tag teams out the wazoo. What has happened to said tag teams in wrestling today? Why has it suddenly become, you know, all about the singles guy? When it has become all about me, all about one person? You know, why has mainstream media, like mainstream wrestling today, have taken a dump all over tag team wrestling? I mean, think about this now. Look who we have as tag team champions in the WWE. David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy. Now, granted, they're not, I wouldn't call them a set tag team. I would call them part of a group because they're part of the new Nexus. Okay, so I don't think they would count. Look who we have as tag team champions in TNA. We have Beer Money. They're a set tag team. TNA, you know, I used to say this about them. TNA had better tag team wrestling than the WWE. Until then, they made Team 3D break up. You know, we do have Matt and Jeff Hardy, but TNA is not utilizing them properly. You know, probably because of this and stuff like that. You know, we used to have the Motor City Machine Guns until Chris Sabin went down with an injury. So, what other tag teams are there in TNA? And for that matter, WWE? I know part of people are going to, hey, woo, 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 what about Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins? You know, they were good when they came out as the Major Brothers and the Edgeheads. That, you know, now they're trying to call them the Major Broskis and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I'm big on it. Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov. It's a joke. It's a joke, but I am really surprised fans go nuts over the Cobra like this. I have never seen such excitement for somebody who does this, and then this. Cobra! Crowd goes nuts. I don't understand that. Anyway, it's a joke tag team, but look at the past tag teams that have been champions. I mean, you know, Big Show and Kane were the former champions, but are they a set tag team in wrestling? No, they're not. They're more predominantly singles wrestlers. I know that's a taboo word to use, but hey, it's my channel. I'm going to call them what they are. Wrestlers. Okay? They can call them wrestlers, superstars, whatever. I will use the term wrestlers because, again, this is my channel. Anyway, it's just ridiculous the way the tag team division has been and tag team wrestling has been. And I know a lot of these guys who are like I know like Road Warrior Animal. I think it's Jim Laurinaitis is his real name, and probably Axe Smash of Demolition. If they're taking a look at what tag team wrestling has become today, and they probably have to agree with what I'm gonna call it is. It's a flat out joke. Tag team wrestling is a flat out joke, and it is such a shame. It's such a shame because tag teams used to be a huge part of mainstream wrestling, especially in WCW and the WWE. The Steiner brothers, the Outsiders. We had, the American Males, which was Scotty Riggs and Buff Bagwell. We had the Orient Express, if I haven't mentioned them yet. If I did, I apologize for repeating that. It's just, we had the Beverly Brothers, the Warlord and the Barbarian, the Faces of Fear, the Barbarian and Ming. I could go on and list more tag teams. The Miz and John Morrison, they used to be predominantly singles competitors. They paired these two together and they got gold. They got gold out of these two guys. And they should have kept working with them, and they decided to split them apart. Because, again, apparently what it looks like in today's wrestling, it's all about the singles guy. They don't give a crap about tag teams. I mean, Crime Time, Shad Gaspard and JTG, they were incredibly relevant as a tag team. Now look what happened when they split them up. Shad Gaspard's out of the company, and JTG's jumping the people left and right. The late Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch were by far one of my favorite tag teams. Not just because they were rednecks like me, but they were incredibly relevant as a tag team. WWE split them up for a while, noticed that they weren't doing well as singles competitors, and decided to bring them back together. And they were more relevant as a tag team than ever. And the same thing goes for the Legacy, which I do like what WWE is doing right now by putting Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase back together. Because if they don't put these two back together, Ted DiBiase's out of a job. Because, he's really not cutting it as a singles guy, as a singles competitor. He really isn't. Legacy, Priceless, whatever you want to call them, they were more known, or let's just say this, more relevant as being a team than they are singles competitors. Not so much with Cody Rhodes nowadays, since he got the big push by Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania 27. But I just don't know why Vince McMahon and why whoever's running TNA, whether it's Dixie Carter, Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff, Jeff Jarrett, whoever the hell is running that company, why are they taking such a big dump on tag team wrestling? It's just, they need to, go back, find all the tapes from the 80s, and try to, figure, go in the back of your heads, back in their heads, and see, how popular tag team wrestling was back in the 80s and 90s. Because today it's just a joke. It's just a joke. And it's just a real shame. That's all I can say about it. So if you out there want tag team wrestling to start making a comeback in mainstream wrestling today, leave a comment in the comment section below. For those of you who don't know, I am also part of a wrestling company, and what I'm going to strive to do is I'm going to ask former tag wrestlers and current tag teams like the Bayou Boys, the Dark Angels, whoever I can talk to at the next GCW event or LCW event, whichever one comes first. I'm going to try to talk to them and get their opinions about why tag team wrestling has suddenly become unpopular in mainstream wrestling today. And hopefully I can get that right here on the WGS YouTube channel for you guys. So with that being said, I'm Double B, Billy Boudreaux. Thanks for watching the WGS YouTube channel.